nowadays. People all around, they be evil. 2021, you can never trust nobody. Good and bad thoughts on my mind, they be crowded. Wish a nigga pass his limits, then he see he bought it. Family work hard, but I never catch them found it. Came a long way, in my dream now be drowning. Niggas stay dying out here, got some hearts pounded. Multi-talented, my passion I haven't found it. Yeah, in my home, I was never ever doubted.
Good evening to each and everyone. It's your boy JC Gov. I'm back with another Chelsea Hollywood moment for you guys today. Today is the day that we're gonna go deep down into the managerial merry-go-round or circus. Wherever we want to put it. Or if it's great or if it's not great. This Chelsea managerial merry-go-round that's going around. This is gonna take a toll on a lot of people, to be quite honest, which we've been talking about for the last couple of days or probably the last week. No one know what's gonna happen because every single day the table have turned. Probably turned into a good way for some people, and probably for some it's turned into a bad way. None of us know what's really gonna happen. We just have to sit back and relax and enjoy this roller coaster ride, which we all on. We all on that roller coaster. Like you're going to the fair or to the circus. Where you got that roller coaster, moments, and that's what we're really getting at this point in time. The roller coaster moment is here. It's up on us. Big up Jay Z. I know you will be joining in a few. You know, this roller coaster moment is something. It's gonna be taking us for a joy ride, or it's gonna take us to one of the worst experience that we have ever been on. None of us know. So all you gotta do is just go in with a clean mindset, and just expect the unexpected. You know, don't put your count your eggs too quick. Some maybe go missing, so don't count your eggs too quick because that's what really happening right now. Like none of us know the outcome. None of us know where the table is gonna turn. None of us know what's gonna happen because yesterday Deserby was the number one, guy for the job, and seems like something went wrong. Everyone is saying that Chelsea need a yes man. I wouldn't say Chelsea need a yes man. They probably just need somebody that can go with their ideas of what they want. They probably have a main idea what they want, and they just need someone to suit it. As we were talking yesterday on Blue Board Analyst, the emergency broadcast, where we were talking a little bit about this, and for me, it's surprising to see they switch from De Zerbi after all what they were saying, but De Zerbi probably turned Chelsea down, to be quite honest, because if we notice that the reason why I said De Zerbi probably turned Chelsea down, as Rich Moneymaker was saying yesterday, no De Zerbi all along in the chat, big up Rich Moneymaker in the building. He was like his source was seems like they were correct because he was telling me no all along, to be quite honest. So I have to give you that one, Rich Moneymaker, for the last stream that we done because it was something that you were continually saying that that they didn't want him. That Bali didn't want De Zerbi, and it seems like you were correct on that one. So I guess your source got that one spot on because you're the only one was telling me like no in the chat. So big up for that one because I get it wrong because honestly I'm here to hold my hands up. Like the way how Chelsea put it, it seems like everything was written for De Zerbi. So I was surprised, when I wake up this morning and see that he's not even the main candidate anymore. You're welcome, Rich Moneymaker. You know, I'm the man. If I'm wrong, I can hold my hands up, and I will always say I'm wrong. You know, and you got it spot on. So I have to give you your praise. You know, I have to give you your glory moment. So you were 100% correct from day one. But you know, it's surprising for everyone this morning, to be quite honest, and that's what I'm saying. Like this Hollywood script, you know, this WWE, storyline, it's taking a toll on us because when we thought, that we got it all figured out, it seems like we do not got it figured out because they take a different turn. Like we sitting here yesterday and 100% was confident, and today is something different. So what we're gonna get tomorrow, none of us know. If they're gonna switch back to the Zerby or they're gonna go for hammering them, none of us know. But I know that we're gonna get some big news up to today. As I was telling Jay Z on the emergency broadcast. Welcome guys to the show. I don't know who want to go first. We got Sir Bobby here with us, and we got the Blue Board analyst is here with us.
Big up Garvin, big up Sir Bobby. So of course Bobby is here, so Bobby will go first, sir. So please go ahead.
Big, big up, Jersey. You're becoming a huge favorite of mine. And sorry, this our host. What I always forget your name. Please, God, forgive me. But I love your shows, and I love the privilege of coming onto them. Sorry, what's your name again? I can't even see it. I've got my
Oh,
phone on.
oh, it's Garvin. Garvin, sir.
Garvin, that's right, Garvin. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Me
Listen,
too, sir.
we all know what the news is at the moment. Like it or not, one of these types of managers, it looks like Enzo Maresca is coming to manage Chelsea. Look, he's an unknown. We all have our concerns, we all have our reservations, but this is the way the wind is blowing. I try rather than attack the ownership and moan and create a depressive a situation around the club. I try to give an insight into what I deduce as to why they're making these moves, and to give hope within the move. Because when nothing has happened that's bad, why do we prophesy doom? Sometimes you may call something into being that never was yours in the first place. So I've looked at this situation. To me, it's very, very clear that the regulations of financial fair play, the regulations of profit and sustainability regulations as PSR, are all the drivers to this whole structure, the structure that is aimed at making Chelsea Football Club as an entity completely self-sustainable. Young players, multi clubs, non Galacticos managers with their huge entourage of backroom staff on big contracts, big wages. That if you need to get rid of them, leave a deep dent in the club's pocket. So all this takes time, all this takes arranging, and all this takes bravery. What these guys are doing is quite brave, if you ask me. Part of me is even a little bit admiring of the boldness with which they are attacking the football industry. Now everybody's copying Chelsea. We tend to forget that even more established clubs that are not building from the scratch like us are also turning to young managers. We've seen Vincent Company go to Bayern Munich. We've seen Motta just about being signed up for Juventus. We know Arsenal already have Arteta, and we've seen Liverpool go for Arnie Slot. He's not quite so young, but he's relatively new on the block and certainly new to the Premier League. All these are risks. Man United may, if they get rid of Ten Hag, probably go for Roberto De Zerbi. I think they'll rather go for him than Pochettino. He'll cost them less. And they too need to keep their eye on their wage bill. You know, nobody's keen on splattering money anymore. Even the mighty Real Madrid are wiping their brows with relief that they didn't have to shell out a transfer fee for Mbappe because his wages alone would bankrupt the best of teams. And, you know, they will not be making any more major signings unless they offload the likes of Modric, the likes of Tony Cruz, and those wage bills off their structure. Then they will be able to recruit. So everybody's penny pinching. January transfer window, nobody really spent money. It was the poorest transfer window in decades, in fact, ever. So, you know, everybody's being careful, everybody's being innovative. That's the name of the game, innovation. So I have decided to do one thing. If they're going for this guy, I'm not convinced. I'm not keen. I wasn't keen on any of them. But if he's coming, I'll look into what he's about, and as always, support my club, support him. I never wanted Pochettino, but as soon as Pochettino came, I supported him. I was incandescent at him losing the Carabao Cup, and I think that's probably part of the reason he's left the club because when you look at his colleague in Ten Hag, at least he didn't fluff finals. At least he's got two trophies for United. So all these things are very, very important. And you know, he failed in my view. And you know, we are looking at a man that will need our support. And I would give him the support unless he completely proves that he's completely incompetent. So we wait for Enzo Maresca, a man who we know had the tutelage under Pep Guardiola. I think he played for Milan with De Zerbi in Italy. I think Maresca is Italian, isn't he? He
Yes,
certainly
he
played.
is.
Yeah, he certainly played for Milan with De Zerbi. He knows De Zerbi. He knows or has worked with Joe Shields and has trained two of our players in Romeo Lavia and Cole Palmer. And if Kavi Sonoko of Sky Sports is to believed, it is to be believed. He said that the reason the Chelsea sporting directors really liked this guy was that he showed an in-depth knowledge of the squad, was keen to work on the squad, showed that he had ideas of how to tactically move the squad forward, and has, from his own performance sheet with Leicester, shown his tactical ability. Now, it didn't go well with him at Parma, but he has got Premier League experience with Man City. He's won the league with Man City. I think he was in their treble winning team or something. I can't, but certainly a double winning team. So we just have to wait and see. And I've decided, look, let's see. If it's this guy, I'll support him. He has everything to prove. The Chelsea job is not an easy gig. It's a tough gig, but I wish him luck if he comes.
What you said, sir, well said, to be quite honest. And I was watching a tactics of him talking about his tactics, and it's similar to Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta. And he got a plan for a defensive counter attacking. Like if you try to counter on his team, he got a way how he defend counter attack. You know, it's kind of interested to really sit and listen to him the way how we talk about his tactics. You know, always go forward as a unit and always defend as a unit. You know, the inverted wing backs that we're doing later on in the season with Pochettino. You know, he show us how you can do that. He show you how you can break it down. You know, he show you how you defend it, transition. You know, so everything that I see so far, you know, after we got linked with him, I tried to do a little bit of research, and I was watching when Cassidy was over there on loan. I used to try to watch all the Leicester City games Sometimes I watch it on the playback because of Omar Hutchinson is playing at the same time, so I can't watch both. With the Premier League, so I normally try to watch one with probably one of the Premier League game. And for me, it wasn't that bad. The way how we play, but some Leicester City fans is saying that sometimes it can be boring, like Manchester City. Manchester City, when they're playing against certain teams, they tend to have more of the ball. So it seems like the game is boring, but they keep the game in their reach where they have control of it, and that's what the owner said they need. So for me, he is a good coach of what I see. We talk about his tactics, but none of us know what we're really gonna get until we get to that line. We have to reach that milestone before we can say, he come in and hit the ground running. But I think that what we're doing is probably pretty good for the team and the club itself. And the reason why I said that, let me explain a little bit clearer. The reason why I said that, De Zerbi gonna come in and you're gonna have to rip the whole entire thing up to prove or to quench his thirst. And right now you need someone that really hungry for something and hungry for success. Not only that, he's really young too, and if he can get the best out of the players, for me, it would work. If he can the full preseason, and what's going to do good for Chelsea, in my point of view, he already coached Palmer, so he already know about Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is going to go to the Euros, so that leaves us only with Gallagher. Everyone's should remember that most of Chelsea team gonna be at Coven at the first start of preseason, because majority of the team ain't going to the Euros. Different and Enzo Fernandez after that, and Caicedo I think go to the Copa America. So it's only about 4 players that we're really gonna come in late in preseason and gonna be missing out of the lot.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's so many questions and at the moment. The one question I have, and I would have loved to have been on the panel interviewing him, and I would have asked, would be, it's one thing rehearsing all your tactical movements with a team like Leicester, who during international breaks are always will have the majority of their squad available, but how would you deal with a team like Chelsea, who you have Europe? That's another hiccup in the road. And we need to play a playoff, which means we start our season early. We need to play a playoff before we actually get into the Europa League proper. Then you have all these internationals. You've mentioned the Euros, there's the Olympics, and there are all these qualification games. We have players left, right, and center going in and out of the squad, and yet you have to produce a cohesive unit. That takes some doing. So I would have wanted to know what his plans are for that, because one of the failings of Chelsea, certainly under Pochettino, was immediately after international football, they would play a game and they would be completely lackluster. So that's going to be interesting. And that's where the depth of the squad matters, and the youth and the use, sorry, of academy players. Pochettino didn't really use them. I hope Moresca is able to use them. At the moment, it's all left to be seen. He's got a lot to prove.
You're back with us, Jersey. You want to say something on that, Jersey?
Well, Garvin, we had a stream late afternoon, early evening on the Coolest Chills podcast, and Sir Bobby was on the chat, and I think he saw my frustration and my anxiety during the stream. So I think I'll try to be a bit more positive, which I am generally. So today I just couldn't control myself to be in a state of, you can say, shock. So first, I would like to ask you, Goblin.
Let me just please quickly
Yes, sir.
step
Please.
in there just and say, I understand you and many in the fan base will be concerned, they'll be anxious. These are uncertain times. But then it's then up to people like myself who have been with this club for decades, both at the club itself and as a supporter. And we've seen a lot of things, and we should not, I think it's highly irresponsible to go and be stoking up the misery, gathering people around, making everybody as unhappy as you are. To what end? Somebody has to look ahead, look to the positive. Nothing bad has happened yet. And we must find those that can at least look at the fan base. If they're a little bit down, say, hey, look, okay, but what about this? What about this? What about this? And people will then start having hope. One thing in life, if you take away people's hopes, you've destroyed their morale. We must continue to pump hope into the fan base. It ain't that bad. We finished last season 11th. This season we were 6th and went to Wembley twice. Okay, not good enough for us, but that's an improvement. Sometimes you have to look at the glass half full and not half empty for the sake of your mental health. Sorry to cut in, Jersey.
No, I appreciate it. Actually, I needed that. I actually needed that. I really appreciate it, Sir Bobby. And you know me, I'm generally a very positive person, but this was, I was not expecting this. And so, yes, I have, of course, my opinions. And don't worry, don't worry. Soon I'll be very positive, I can assure you. And would give the owners, the sporting director, another chance to prove the fan base that they're moving in the right direction. So, Galvin, I would like to ask you that first of all, I'm sure you are shocked as well. And what do you think? Why this U-turn from De Zerbi, who was heavily linked until yesterday evening? And what's your perspective? I would like to hear your perspective on De Zerbi not going through, and it's not official. It's not official to the audience, but it's reported that it's imminent. So yes, please go ahead, Govan.
If we look back on it too, the reason why I deserve to leave Brighton, wish I didn't look deep down in it yesterday. He leave Brighton because he want a club where he probably can sign his own player, because Brighton and Chelsea's almost similar, because Chelsea gonna buy the players. They need a coach to come in and coach these players. But the difference with Brighton and Chelsea, Brighton buy young players to build them up to sell them on for profit, but Chelsea's trying to get the best of the best for a long term, probably the next year or 2 years, to build a winning machine. A lot of managers don't want to wait because De Zerbi probably think that he already wastes his time at Brighton developing players, and now you want to go at a team where it's now or never. So it may be broke down in that aspect, while it can break down from the ownership. Probably look at it and say, if this guy don't get his way, wonder if we're gonna develop another Pochettino. So it can be both things. Both things can be right at the same time, or probably they just reach in the middle and they just decided like, I'd rather go for this guy because he will be more like, help these younger players to gradually grow, which he already have 2 of these players under his wings before, three or four young players under his wing, because Cassidy was playing in the latter stages of the game before he come back on loan. He was there playing and was getting game time. He was scoring and assisting over there. So they probably look at that and said, like, these are 3 or 4 young players that we got really, really high potential for. So why not bring in this manager, to help them finish grow? So, it can be one or the other. I'm just surprised how it happened, but would I regret it? No, I won't regret it, because for me, I always want my club to do good, and I'm gonna have faith. Even if they don't show me to have faith, I'm gonna just have faith and just trust in them for this time. If it don't work this time, then I'll probably look at it and say, then enough is enough. But right now, where I'm at right now, I'm on the roller coaster with them. I'm with the ups and the downs and the in between. I'm just hoping and praying that this one they're making, hope is the right choice, and hope they take their time and do the right thing for our mental state. Remember yesterday I was telling you on the emergency broadcast, that what they're doing, you know, they taking us around in a circle, and it's for the older generation of Chelsea supporters. I really you know sincerely I feel it for them, because this minute you get an A and B, and then next minute you get a C and D and an E, and for us who dedicate ourselves to the club, who invest our time, each day to try to figure out what's going on in the club, and try to talk about the positive and the negative in the club. It's good for people who just do content to do content's sake. For us is we really dedicate ourselves to the club. We really want the club to do well. We would like to talk to other people to get their different opinion in these situations. So that's why we do this. We don't do this for a clickbait. We do this because we love it, and because we want our team to advance. We want our team to be good and to be great again. So we always come together and sit here and talk about the game, which is beautiful for me. I'm just hoping that this choice is the right choice. I don't know if I answer you correctly, but that's just how I feel at the moment.
No, you explained it well, and that's where I have reservation. Look, I think you know me very well. In fact, people call me toxic positive, right, for being so supportive of everything. And person like me who is thinking like this, they should also try to understand. I know Bobby, and I respect Bobby, and he also understands me well. I'm happy about that. But I just feel that it's not making sense. I know. I mean, you can ask that how can I exactly know what happened, what transpired? But the I would like to ask both of you. The patterns are not making sense. Let's say, of course, there are so many assumptions over here. That I will agree. As Garvin said, that if they were going for De Zerbi, right, which they were for sure, according to the reports, solid reports. So if it failed, we don't know if what happened. I mean, of course, they were talking to two, three, four candidates, right? The thing is, if the question that comes to my mind is, as Garvin said, the De Zerbi couldn't work at Brighton. Over here, this is all this similar situation. So, what I infer, or the skeptics at this moment are inferring, is that the sporting directors only want the person. You can call it yes man or anything. The point is that who will completely align with the framework. So they neglected Nagelsmann, or Nagelsmann backed out for this reason, as I said in the earlier podcast last year. This is what I'm drawing, right? I could be wrong, but this is what I'm drawing. Ruben Amorim, they didn't consider him for such reasons. This is what we can assume. Roberto does De Zerbi as well. So even Bobby, if we are taking this route of a modern framework where we work with the sporting directors, they could still have made a better, you can say, they could have taken a better decision. It just appears to me that perhaps they are too rigid in their way. This is what I'm reading. I could be wrong, Bobby. Please, what's your take on this?
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be human and you wouldn't be a fan if you didn't have your concerns, if you didn't have your complaints, even, and you were not weary of the whole situation. It's very normal because it is an unknown entity. It's completely uncharted territory. But like Gavin, we've decided to fasten our seatbelt and get on this ride for wherever it's going. We just sit there, buckle up, and hold on. Why? Because we love the club, and I know you're the same as well, Jerry Z. There's nobody here that doesn't love the club and is here for anything other than a desire to see the club not only return to winning ways, but supersede its greatness. So yes, we're all there. Yes, we're all concerned. Now, one thing I have to point out is that at the moment, Enzo Maresca hasn't been named the Chelsea manager, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we wake up in the morning and you find out it's De Zerbi. It's highly unlikely, but it could happen. Nothing is done. It's like the transfer market when players are saying, "Oh, this player's a Chelsea player." I'm like, do you know what? Ultimately, what matters is it ain't happened until he's there, he's signed, and you see him photographed at Cobham lifting up the shirt. That's when I know it's happened. So, at the moment it hasn't happened, but the momentum is going towards Enzo Maresca. Now, assuming it's him, we roll with it. We roll with it. Okay, the Zerbi may have been a better choice, but those of us that have held interviews for staff before, sometimes you have an interview where everybody comes and they're good in terms of the job description you put out there. And it's only little margins that you use to choose the one person that you want to hire, because there can only be one. And I believe this is such a case. I think De Zerbi ticked a lot of boxes, but according to the sporting directors, this guy has ticked boxes that, kind of favor the direction of the club better. Now, are they being a bit too rigid? Maybe, but look, this club is owned by a conglomerate of super rich individuals whose stock in trade is money. They are an investment company. They are money itself, and they're not here to play. Their aim is not for a club that doesn't succeed, but they're innovative people. They didn't become what they are today by being afraid of certain risks, certain calculated risks within their realms of due diligence. And this is such a risk. Now, to the normal eye, what these people do is complete insanity. You know, it's like the guy that designed and created the airplane, the guy that created the mobile phone, the guy that did the internet. All these ingenious, world-changing, innovative discoveries. The guy that discovered the light bulb, they all did things at that time that nobody else was doing. That's their genius. That's their success. And if at that time you told someone, "Hey, look, if you do this with this, you get electricity and there'll be light," they'll look at you as if you're crazy. Or if you said, "Hey, look, if you do this and do that, you'll be able to fly," they'll look at you as if you're crazy, because many people have back then had put on birds' wings and tried to fly and fell flat on their face. I'm just giving hypothetical examples here. So this is one such thing. My faith in this is partly based on the knowledge of the power of the obscure. I'm not one that really is too concerned when somebody goes out there on a limb and does something. That's why I said I have a little sort of admiration for the absolute balls of these guys with what they're doing. I mean, this is the stuff of winners. Now, they could absolutely completely fail, but can you imagine if they succeed with this? My goodness me, every club in its existence will want to be Chelsea, just like they already do. Everybody wants our managers, everybody wants our players, everybody wants the way we do things. Everybody. They're putting in regulations to try stop Chelsea. They're paying referees and VAR to try stop Chelsea. Everything is all daggers drawn at Chelsea. Why? Because we're innovators. We always have been. You look at Chelsea's history, they have always built things from scratch to the top when they've been most successful. So for me, I hang on to my hat and sit and watch and pray that this happens. Of course, it hurts when things don't happen. I mean, those of you that sat on panels after the Carling Cup final, which I still talk of till today, I was absolutely incensed because it was just there for the taking, and these fools dropped the ball. So yeah, I'm just as emotional as any other Chelsea fan. The only thing I believe I have, which I think I'm trying to share, is because I've seen a lot of ups and downs in the past and seen a lot of things. It makes me easily snap out of the disappointment and the fear and be more prepared to just lend support to something that seems a little unusual. to say the least.
Very well said, Bobby. Very well said. I mean, I'm fascinated that, and it's a very genuine take. You know, it's not that you just said it the way you feel, and even in this situation, what I learned from your take, that you are seeing the positive. So it shows your strength, and we are blessed to learn from you, and to hope take this, you know, into our DNA moving forward. So I
Honestly,
appreciate it.
Jersey, I have to say, it's not just seeing the positive. It's that I look at the objective. This is what it is, and in the objective lies somewhere in the objective is the truth. And the truth in this case can only be revealed when it happens. So why fear something that hasn't even happened? That is the failure
Correct,
of
correct.
the
Absolutely,
exercise.
absolutely. Govin, so feel free, of course. You can express any negativity. It's okay, and we are all versus Chelsea, and of course, I will support. I have always supported Chelsea. I hope no one is getting this feeling that I don't want to support Chelsea. It's if anything, it's just my, you can say, reservation that they perhaps didn't make the best decision. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. So did this from this tweet, Chelsea have studied how Arteta eventually thrived after leading Guardiola's staff and hope Mariska can flourish in the same way. So, Gavin, is it really? I mean, all these things that are coming, some true, some might be rumors, but let's say if this is true. I mean, is this really a criteria to go for a manager? And the other tweets I'll share that he is so obsessed with possession, right? And that makes the sporting directors feel like, wow, he's obsessed with possession. And as this tweet suggested, that what happened to Arteta, I mean, the story of Arteta so far, and so they are hoping the same would happen with Maresca. To me, I don't see it as, compelling, strong reason. That's just my opinion. Please, Gavin, go ahead.
I'm gonna go a little bit deeper too with this one. Let me start off with a position. If you notice, the teams that tend to keep more possession of the ball normally be the most successful team, especially in this modern time. If you notice, Pep Guardiola, he control each and every game that he play with. If you notice the Liverpool team that come up against him with the club, with the rock and roll, eye pressing game, how long can you sustain it? Mikel Arteta tried the same thing with a little bit of possession with a high tempo pressing, and they burned out the end of last season. And this season, they try to be a little more reserved, but they still fall short. So when you keep the ball, the more you keep the ball, it's the better for your team. Player can take a breather and player keep fresh, in my belief. Because if you got the ball, the team gonna have to chase at all times. So that wear them now, that break them down. So for me, that's why Pep Guardiola is so right now, revolution the whole entire game and put it in his favor where he can dominate right now. So I think that would be a good way to go. If you keep the ball, less work for you. You just have to find the spaces. So for me, in that part, it's a good thing. And we have to look also, Pep Guardiola didn't coach a team before he take up Barcelona. He was a Barcelona B team coach. If we go to Zinedine Zidane, he was coaching the B team. Then he was Ancelotti assistant. Then he take over. He win 3 Champions League in a row. So that's where the club probably sit back and look. All these names that we're going for, it would be unfair for me to say that this manager just gonna come in and fail right off the bat. Because
Exactly.
if we were gonna
Exactly.
say, oh, sorry, go ahead, Sir Bobby.
I was just saying exactly. I was just really applauding what you're saying. It's so much common sense. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're fine. So if we're gonna say that this manager, is not the one, it wouldn't be fair for us. It wouldn't be fair for the club. It wouldn't be fair for the manager. Someone, even if you're gonna do a job, and you said they say you're gonna go and work in experience. You have to go and work in experience to get the experience. And he already did that. for me. So I think now he probably need a bigger step right now to prove, what he can do or what he can bring. It can work or it can fail. I'm not saying it's gonna work, but it's gonna be an in between. So right now, like the club probably sit back and look on Mikel Arteta, Zinedine Zidane, Pep Guardiola, all those managers that we're saying is world class at this moment. They were given an opportunity. Someone take a risk with them, you know, to help them to gradually grow to be in the spotlight today. So all these young managers that's coming in, they just need someone to have faith in them, to believe in them so they can rise and be the next big thing that's coming out. If you don't take the risk, you will never know what a man can do. So sometimes you have to, put our egos aside or the banter from rival, and you have to take a chance. Because I can guarantee you right now, if Pep Guardiola resigned today, if Zinedine Zidane, he's already out of the game. And Mikel Arteta, they're out of the game. Arsenal, all of the big managers right now we're talking, the Thomas Tuchel and all of them, the games are changing. The game are moving from them. So if they're all supposed to resign today or tomorrow, what we're gonna do? Everyone gonna have to go for an inexperienced manager. So, the next big thing. So for me, it's a gamble. Will it pay off? We don't know. But as a Chelsea fan, like we have to have hope and have to have faith that it will work because he'd probably be the next gem that's just need to take out of the ground, like a diamond, wash him off, polish him, and put him up there and he shine. So that's my take on it, sir.
Yeah, I understand. Very well explained. But again, what I conclude from your very good speech is that it's all about hope right now. Look, I understand there are some positive what you explain moving forward, the situation, the framework, how the game is played. He take the boxes in as far as possession based working under Guardiola. But let's put it this way, and I'm not trying to be negative or anything. It's a discussion. I hope you guys understand. It's a discussion, right? Perhaps I will be supporting him like crazy. I won't be even thinking about him. It's always Chelsea Football Club, right? The players, the performance. If he works, it will be amazing. I'll be the first one to make a video and say I was wrong. It's all about learning, right? It's nothing personal. So and it's not even about him. It's about my critique. Sorry, is on the sporting directors for making this decision. It's not his fault. No one should even say anything to him. It's offered to him, he took it, and it's it's not done, by the way. So the thing is, let's put it this way to both Bobby and Galvin. Okay, as much as we can make sense of it, and try to be calm, and of course we'll support the club. There's no even that's not even a question. I don't know if anyone would not support the club. They are not Chelsea fans. They're not proper Chelsea. So that's not even something to contemplate. That's not even the point. So the thing is, with all what you said, right? Would he be if you were in the board? Would he be your first pick? I'm sure not. This is my point. If he would not be your first pick, then this is the debate or this is the critique I'm having. Then why did they go for him? If Sir Bobby, Galvin, any other panelist or professionals, analysts would have the 5-7 names, if you're not going for Enzo Maresca, this is my reservation.
Can I go first, Sir Bobby?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. When I look at it, right, they probably it's just like you're going for a job, right? You got like 100 or 200 person do an interview for that one job, and after you interview all the person that apply for the job, it's up to you now to sit back and look on all your notes that what each one present to you, and try to pick the best one out of the bunch, and probably the rest, as I was saying earlier, probably that in the interview they say something that does not match what the owners are looking for, or the sporting directors. They probably were looking for A, and the sporting director looking for B or C or D. So it can none of us know who was the number one candidate. As I was saying earlier, like they can just randomly put some name out there. We're gonna give everyone a fair chance. So after we finish our interview, then we pick the best out of the bunch. That's what it looked like to me right now. I can be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. It can be how you present it. It can be in that way. But at this point in time, it seems like they called McKinnon last night to tell him that he's not in the list anymore. So after they have their interview with him, whatever you present, they didn't like it. So they mark an X. So it's down to these two right now, as according to the bookmakers. So Deserver probably say something that he don't like, they don't like. Probably Deserver need more control. As I said, Deserve got high expectation for himself. So probably Deserve want to go to probably a Barcelona, or he was looking for a Bayern Munich or one of those. Probably his headspace thought he was going to get one of those big job. So probably they just decide like this man always want the job. This man, show more, and match our expectation. So let us go for this man. It can end up being in that way, in my point.
No, Sir Bobby, just 1 second. So this is my look. Sorry, hypothetically, like if we are assuming that this is the situation, this is the worry, and we don't know. I hope it is not that. Okay, Deserby didn't fit the bill. He's asking for something. He's a little bit demanding, as you said, Govan. That and he more fits in. So if this is the primary reason, please understand my frustration. If we don't know, but I'm just assuming if this is one of the big reasons not to go for Ruben Emrims or Deserby, that they asked for something, they have a different way to conduct themselves, XYZ. This is where I'll be very reserved that they are trying to be militant or autocratic in their strategy. Uh, this is the concern. Sir Bobby, please go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, I have to say that all the big journalists and reputable people that we know of out there, the Fabrizio Romanos, the David Ornsteins, the Ben Jacobs, and even Sky Sports itself, nobody has actually discounted um, uh, De Zerbi or Thomas Frank. That has to be said. They have favoured Enzo Maresca, and they've said that Chelsea have drawn up a contract. He's agreeable to it, and are clearly discussing with Leicester with the payoff. But they haven't discounted the others yet. But they did discount Kieran McKenna, probably because it's a bit too early. I can imagine how the conversation went, that you did well. We really admire your work. We've got our eye on you. And maybe sometime in the future, if the opportunity arises, you'll be the guy, that sort of thing. But he was discounted, whereas the other two have not been discounted. So I have to get that in to start off with. Secondly, there can only be one. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be that there was something wrong with the others. It's just that one fits the whole setup better. That's all. It may not necessarily be that De Zerbi, they didn't like him. They've been watching him for a very long time. A lot of them even know him. And it may not be that they found any fault in his character. It may just be more likely that Maresca said, did, or showed something that impressed them just that little bit more, and that was enough. So, as I've said, there can only be one. There doesn't always have to be poison in the soup, as it were, before you choose not to drink it. You may simply find that the other soup in front of you is better. And that's a sort of analogy, but that's what I think this is. I don't think they particularly have any issue with any of them. Even Thomas Frank, that we're not really talking about and none of us really fancy anyway. I don't think it's that, and he hasn't been discounted either. So if he's not chosen, it's not that, oh, they found something wrong with Frank and he did this or he was too demanding. No, I'm rather of the school of thought that, look, these guys were good, but they found somebody that they feel is a better fit. And time will tell if they've made the right decision. Bear in mind that there is pressure on them to make the right decision. So all their footballing skills, knowledge, and investigative abilities would have gone into choosing this new manager. They're not looking for somebody with a name. They're not looking for somebody that's fashionable. They are just 100% focused on somebody that fits the bill. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's all I have to really say on that point.
So, just to understand the situation, as we can see on the screen, or if someone is not watching, then I'll just read it out. According to Skybet, and we are not promoting or advocating for betting. If anyone wants to do, of course, in the legal framework, please go ahead, do it responsibly. So this is just for analysis to make sure why we are putting it out there. According to Skybet, Enzo Maresca is now 1/20, which is like it's almost it's done, you can say. And the second favorite, Roberto De Zerbi, is 8/1. So it's not even a contest anymore, right? Enzo Maresca, odds-on favorite, 1/20 as we speak. Galvin?
When it reads, it reads definitely that it seems like he's the one they're really gonna go for because the media, it's everywhere in the media. So don't be surprised if by tomorrow it announced that he is the one. I don't think it's gonna take that long, as according to all the reports that they want to complete by this week. You know, so I don't think this is probably. I don't think this is gonna switch again. I think this is the route that they're gonna go to. I think this is the guy that they think is best for it, and it fit to what they're always saying that they want a project like Arsenal. Get young players and develop them, and then start a challenge. So if that's the route that they want to go to, because we used to hear a lot in the media, all these different stuff, and you have to pick and choose which one you believe. But I always hear like they're saying they want a model like Arsenal, where and Manchester City, and my belief when they signed even on Pochettino, in my belief they signed Pochettino because of the stadium, where I was saying that because Pochettino was the man that don't really demands for transfer, where they could have go on to and get all these young players, and then probably a year or two don't sign any players to focus on the stadium. And I seems like I was wrong with that one too, because Pochettino is not here anymore. But for me, I think that they're gonna stick with this. If this wasn't correct, and from Fabrizio come out with it, and talking with so much stress and demand that it's gonna happen. So all I have to do and say to all Chelsea fans, like, trust in them for this one, because we already go down the route of many managers, your Pochettino, your Graham Potter, that have Premier League experience, and we all know how that one turned out. So now this one is an unknown. You know, hope he can surprise the Premier League in my behalf. Hope this time we find someone that does surprise each and every one. We can make a run for it. Finish in top four or even challenge. Because if we get it right, I don't say we got a good team that probably can challenge. I'm not saying we're going to, so I don't want no one get me wrong. I say I'm deluded or anything, but if he come in and he get it right, we probably can be up there with the top four, and hopefully we can give them a run for their money before this team, get found out. Because the Premier League, to be honest, if we all know the Premier League is a really tough league. You have to be pragmatic. You can't only stick to one formation. You're gonna have to learn how to change, especially during game times. And this man got a plan A and a plan B to what I see when I was watching Leicester City. So I'm just open for the best, honestly.
Can you put this? It's a breaking news in a way from David Ornstein. Can you put this tweet? According to David Ornstein, which we all rate, very credible journalist, I think 3 to 4 minutes in, Chelsea are now set for discussions with Enzo Maresca, and this is something which now making me more uncomfortable. And I continue with this message and this tweet. Are in discussions with Enzo Maresca and are expected to agree a contract spanning a minimum of 5 years. A minimum of 5 years, according to David Ornstein, and he has also put a shocking and surprising emoji in front of that. Bobby, please. Don't, Bobby, 5 years won't make sense. Come on. Bobby, please go ahead and have your say.
Yeah, I mean, that has surprised me. Gosh, that is showing faith in him, if ever there was faith. Look, there's probably now I'm looking at it pragmatically. That that's always my way of deducing things. The reason why Graham Potter's long contract was absolutely abominable was that he earned big wages and he brought in a huge entourage with him, all also on fairly sizable wages. So when he was paid off, it was a big payoff, relatively. Could have been worse. He even took a deduction, but it was quite a big payoff. Now, what this may be is that this guy isn't going to earn quite as much. There will be an increment in salary to what he had at Leicester, but Chelsea is a performance-based system, so his wages with the length of contract will be performance-based. In like with the players, this is hypothetical. For example, if he's on 100K a week, then bonuses are bolted on with things like winning cups, winning the Premier League, or finishing in top four, or finishing in the Europa League play, that sort of thing. So I think, and then each year with progress will be an increment. So that may be how the deal is structured, such that as the increment goes up, the payoff, should they decide to let go, will go down or plateau or be unnecessary because he's doing so well anyway and you don't want to get rid of him. That's how my mind is going to make this make sense. But it is surprising, but that's the only way I see it. If they've got him on big wages for 5 years, that's bonkers. I don't think it makes much sense. And I would be surprised if they did that.
Garvin, I'll just say if it's true, it's David Ornstein said that. It's, of course, it's not a gospel. We are all gospel followers here, I believe, 3 of us. It's not gospel, but we can assume if David Ornstein is saying, he's a very, in my time following him, a very credible, very good journalist. He has put the tweet, I repeat, for anyone who didn't hear me out or think that maybe perhaps I'm just saying it. It's another surprising update just 7 minutes ago from David Ornstein. Chelsea are now set for discussions with Enzo Maresca. Of course, we have already warmed up for that, but it continues to say this, and are expected to agree. Expected, yeah. It's not like he's saying it is like that, but are expected to agree a contract spanning of a minimum. Try to see. He's not even saying a 5 years, saying a contract spanning a minimum of 5. And Bobby, he has highlighted 5 in his tweet, years, and an emoji. So please, Gavin, go ahead, and then
Yeah,
I'll try to make sense of
yeah.
it. Gavin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite sure, if it's Ornstein, he's right, but there must be some financial uh, 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 permutations that make it possible. Hence my suggestion that this is on an incremental performance-based basis like the player's contract.
Um, I think I saw something like this earlier from Yannick, football therapy, where he was saying that it was 3 years plus two, so we don't know what the contract is, so probably it's right, probably it's a 5 year, but with a 2 years, of the club can extend, to that. We don't know if that's the way it is, but hopefully it's not that 5 years, because we don't want to give a manager 5 years again, and then later on, we regret it like with Graham Potter, or unless they're gonna put in the contract that if they sack him, you know, just they're gonna have to come to a mutual agreement where they give him like a settlement, because the club already learned from that mistake. So I don't think they're gonna make a mistake again, for the long year contract with they're gonna get that big payout anymore. So 5 year contract, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's true, but I think it would probably be a tree with a 2 year, with the club option of extend, because that's what the club mostly be doing these days. Notice all the player contract, all the contract that they've been giving out after they make the mistake with Graham Potter. All those contracts have been a 1 year or 2 year with a further year of a 1 or 2 years, even with the young players. Because last week they have 5 young players that renew their contract with an option, for a further year or two, because the next thing again, they don't want to lose out anyway on any profit that they can really make too. So that's where the game is going. A lot of teams right now, they're going down this route, that Chelsea's going down. So I'm not surprised. um for me, it's the best way to do it, because at least you have a little advantage, because manager can get up and leave and want to leave tomorrow morning. If they got a 1 year, they can trigger that 2 year. If a bigger club come in for them, they can trigger it, so they can at least get back something. The same thing with players, just like you got your Rudiger, your Christensen leave. They leave for nothing. So I think every club now is going for a safe space where they're gonna always have their financial, you know self ready for these situations.
Yes, first of all, we have to wait and see, but it's Onstein, and yes, as you said, it's five. It could be 3+2. Even if it's a 3+2, it's too much. It's giving the guy a lot of confidence. 3+2 is technically like you have. It's in the club's hands. Like that two is not in the hands of the coach. But yes, the point is that point makes sense that they can hold the value. They can, if he's doing well, they can trigger the clause even if he wants to go to, let's say, Madrid or Bayern, given if he's very successful, hopefully. So, but still, 3+2 it still won't make sense. If you see it in the last 3-4 years, the maximum is a 3 year contract or a 2+1 year. This is what I'm seeing. So, again, you might think that I'm being negative. No, but again, if anything, you can say it, since morning I'm looking at things from the other side, and nothing wrong with that. We can always, it's not being negative, it's just trying to figure out as an analyst what's going on. If it's the case, I will look into that they want to, the board wants to be proven right with this guy. They are saying it, we are okay to give him this much time. Let's say even it's 4 years, 4+1. Even if there is an incremental progression you can say incremental, you can say finishing top 6 and then top 4, a cup, not really the same ambition, with the Pochettino or the previous, you can say, targets, they might give him more time. Even if he doesn't finish in this top four, they'll wait, hope he wins a cup. I'm just saying, not trying to be negative, right? And then incremental, you can say, progress, something to show for. Eventually, in the third, fourth year, challenge for the league, win the league. So this is how I'm looking at, like the Arteta, 4 years, and in the last 2 years, Arteta in his third and fourth, or fourth and fifth season, challenge for the league. So I'm looking into, if this is the situation, I'm looking into it in the 4 to 5 year project, right? Try to finish top four. Okay, you can be in top six this season, improve, increment, then be in the Champions League, try to win some cups, and third, fourth, fifth year is where we expect you to challenge and win the league. This is what I'm reading from this. Bobby? Bobby, are you there?
Sorry, Jersey, was that for me?
Yeah, I just said that I see it as a very long-term project, same like Arsenal's Arteta. If it's, let's say, 4 5 years, so I think they are not expecting a turnaround. First 2 years maybe for a rebuild. Hope he can finish in the top four. So they, in short, what I'm trying to say, they're okay to give him time, be an incremental process, progress, and eventually third, fourth year try to challenge for the league as Arteta did. So it's just my thought. If it's the case, they are probably looking at Arteta and Arsenal and giving him this much time. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, your thoughts are yours. I'm not sure they're looking at anybody, to be honest. I think they're looking at themselves. And I don't think they have that, they have a long-term plan, but not that long. His longevity is more on sustaining success creating, rather than building up to success. The last season showed us all a lot of things. This team is not far off at all. Maybe one or two buys, definitely fewer injury problems, and they will really be a team to reckon with the right manager and the right training. So I don't think they're looking at it that way at all. They're looking at it as success from day one. Vis-a-vis, if you have, for example, you're earning £20 and you go into the league, if you win the League Cup, you get £25 on top. You win the FA Cup, you get £50 on top. You win the Conference League, you get £75 on top. You finish top six, you get £25 on top. You finish top five, you get £50 on top. You finish top four. Because it's Champions League, it goes up to £100 on top. If you finish within the top two, 150. These are all hypothetical. And if you win the league, because it's such a big achievement, you get maybe 200, 250 on top of your income. It is that. And then the next year, instead of earning £20, you're earning £25 to start with. And it goes on that trajectory. It's a performance based, incremental based process. If you are around for the next year, it means you must have done something right to earn your increase in wages, because by doing something right, you're bringing in revenue into the club. This is a self-sustaining model, and it's based on the second phase of PSR, which is an algorithm of the lowest income club in the Premier League, through which the salaries will be capped. So there is a salary cap, certainly for players, and various other financial restrictions, which is based on being able to spend only 70% of your revenue. You see, fans forget all this when they are looking and making their demands for, oh, I want Conte, oh, I want Mourinho, oh, I want this, I want that, I want Pep Guardiola, I want, these club owners have designed a trajectory, taking into consideration the restrictions, the financial restrictions that are going to be on the club. Also, another thing they are also looking at is very, very soon, they're going to start the stadium rebuild. Now, the stadium rebuild is a crippling process, certainly financially, although that budget has already been drawn up and put aside. But the club may need to relocate. And if they relocate, that means they'll be paying rent somewhere. The bigger the place, in my view, the better, because okay, you pay rent, but you claw back a lot from gates and revenue that way. So all these things have to be taken into consideration. The ideal position would be, should they be able to purchase somewhere like Earl's Court, then they keep Stamford Bridge, keep playing there until Earl's Court is ready. And they never sell Stamford Bridge. It maybe be like a training ground or something. The permutations are limitless should they purchase another location entirely. But, let that aside, that hasn't happened yet. We're not there yet. But all I'm saying is that these aren't simple, straightforward plans. Fans are very simple in their outlook. They look at, oh, winning, oh, Mourinho, oh, Thomas Tuchel, Champions League, bang, 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 this is how it happens. No, these people have bought a conglomerate club from scratch. They're rebuilding it from scratch. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of forward thinking, a lot of calculated, brave moves, and doing some unusual things that the fan base aren't used to because they've never been here before. They've never been in this position before. And so the experts that are in the position creating the direction to build this mammoth club again are making moves that the average person will struggle to understand. Oh, a non-entity manager, for example, slap him on a minimum 5-year deal. Whereas in truth, that 5-year deal is a 3 plus 2 year deal. In truth, that 3 plus 2 year deal is a performance based incremental process based on honors that you win that clearly bring revenue into the club in order to pay you. So your payment is coming from the revenue, which fits into any PSR FFP scheme, and also fits into the long term plan of the new stadium, new sister clubs. What these guys are planning for Chelsea will blow your mind. I'm not surprised that many people just don't get it yet. The penny hasn't dropped because they can't see it. The vision behind this project is humongous. They are Americans, and Americans think big. They are producing a conglomerate. They are producing a franchise that will be humongous in terms of the sporting world. And it's not going to be fun in the making, but fans will be fans. And this is why people like Todd Bowley, he speaks sometimes. Egbali doesn't speak at all. Luisio Feliciano, is it? Doesn't speak at all, and neither do any of the others. They're busy planning, moving, meeting, doing things in the background. I can assure you, remember, we got players we still need to sell off our wage bill. Vis-a-vis Lukaku, Malang Sarr, Kepa, and hopefully, if we can,
Sterling.
even Sterling. Yeah, and you see, Todd Bowley didn't go to Saudi Arabia just to have a meal. There are many things constantly happening. These guys don't rest. They're billionaires. They're always working. They think 24/7. They're about 10 steps ahead of the average person. That's why they made it that big. And unless you have the capacity to even try and understand the magnitude of what they're doing, remember, this is a collective. This isn't just one man. Like we had, we had one billionaire in Roman Abramovich, who loved the club and treated it like his baby. No, this is what? How many of them? About seven, eight of them all putting their brains together and to produce this thing. It can't be normal. You know what I mean? It can't be your everyday run of the mill club. Chelsea is going to go through the roof, but the process is scary. And this is what's happening now. So if they give this guy 5 years, I don't know, to me it looks weird, but yet again, I'll err on the side of faith because I believe I can see a little bit of what these guys are doing. You cannot expect a group of such financial brains coming together and produce your normal, everyday, average, mundane, same old process. No, they're going to be different, very different. And that's what we're going through now.
So Lord Dante is in the house. Lord Dante, thank you for tuning in from Melbourne, Australia. Always appreciate your support, sir. What's your take? I also believe that you are not so happy or not sold on this idea. Feel free to give your opinion. Gavin, if you can go back so I can read his message. Lord Dante is like a, you can say, is a very important member of this community. He's a
Which one? The
very
one, the one he said that he have a 10 million release
no,
clause.
just go if you can kindly go back. There are 3 to 4 messages so I can read. He always supports all our channels: Chelsea Perspective, your channel, my channel, and his input is valuable. I'm sure Bobby is familiar with CFC Dante, right? Yeah, okay, so I can read from here. So he said, Lord Dante says, Maresca only need to say one thing, Pep. That's interesting. I mean, in the interview, he's you got it, Govern, right?
Yeah.
So, Maresca, so the interview, right? So, I have worked with Pep. Oh, okay. So I'm just being humorous. I hope no one is Bobby. I hope you're not getting me wrong. Trying to be a little humorous. So Dante says, "Thanks, Jerry Z. You're most welcome, sir. You're most welcome." Is there any other message?
No, that's it. It's just two when him and Rich Money Maker was going
There is a
uh
10 million. I think Dante was saying that we need to pay around 10 million
$10
euros,
million
right?
dollar release clause. Yes.
So go ahead, sir. Okay, so Maresca has dollar 10 million release clause with Leicester, so we need to pay that as well. Garvin, I have a question. Do you think it could be the ultimate master plan and tomorrow morning we wake up it's De Zerbi? So if any fan was not okay with De Zerbi, they will be now jumping, off the bed, of the sofas, running, screaming, dancing that we got De Zerbi. Do you think it could be the ultimate, you can say, master plan to eventually go this far with McKenna to eventually sign De Zerbi? Do you think any possibility at this moment?
Um, if they change their mind in the last minute, then all of us will be looking foolish, especially the media, because they've been getting wrong information. They've been led down along a different path, and then I don't think it will be good for the owners right now. Or whosoever is leaking these information, it wouldn't give a good look towards the club, because people right now have been, since the news come out this morning, I've been warming up to it, even if they don't like it. Putting a lot of work by doing research on this manager Enzo, and you know trying to find a way to accept it. And if they change again, what's gonna look like. They don't know what they need, and that will show that they're confused, and people will have more doubts in my mind, because if you change in the last minute after everyone thought it would be De Zerbi yesterday, and then today, it's Enzo. That would show us many different things, and people will have more concern like where the club are going, and so right now for me, they put this out, and I know someone have to leak it, so I would stick with this one, to be quite honest. If this is your choice and this is what you give the media, that this is your choice, don't change from it, because that's only going to lead to a lot of stuff. So a lot of us probably don't like it. A lot of us probably think you don't got enough experience. As I said earlier, a lot of us maybe wonder where we're going next. But for me, somewhere down the line, you have to gain experience by someone have faith and trust in you. All of us at one point in our lifetime, someone take a risk with us, either give us a job or something, so we can gradually grow from. So everything in life is a risk. None of us know what tomorrow bring. None of us know what life owed. That's how I think. I don't just live for the moment. I try to embrace, you know, life and opportunity in many different ways. Because back in the days, when I used to play soccer, and I know I taught this story before, but I was just playing and I was putting my heart out there. The scout was watching. I didn't know that someone was there watching. When he picked out of the lot, he picked me out of the lot. So, he take a chance with me. So sometimes we just need someone to show a little bit of faith in us and give us a chance, an opportunity, to make someone proud, or to make a nation proud. And I think probably this will be that moment, for Enzo. He probably there hungry and was waiting for this moment. You know, I hope if you get the job, I hope you take it with both ends, and embrace it. You know, I I would say, like, do it to his best of his ability, and try not try not to overthink and overdo it. Just go in there and just do a job. That's all I can ask for. So we can sit and watch Chelsea comfortably and at least said he tried.
So Dante says, I don't mind as long as he wants to be here. Of course, he would love to be here. I would run from Scotland to London right now on the spot if I'm given the opportunity. Work with the squad and we have and is aligned with the model project plan. He is aligned. He is aligned. He would never say no. I'm not being negative. Look, it's a big opportunity for him that he never anticipated. So why won't he take this? Why would he put any conditions? This is my reservation, right? I'm not being negative. I'm trying to be logical in my own way, and I hope I'm wrong. I see a lot of void in this. He will be criticized just like Poch was, according to Dante. If not good enough, then he goes as well. This time, what should be with sporting directors? Yes, yes. If it doesn't work, right, Bobby, I hope you would agree with this. I mean, of course, it's your call. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying that if this doesn't work out and really fails, don't you think so? Then it will be, you can say, fair to point fingers at the sporting director, Sir Bobby.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, people will point fingers at the sporting directors and people will kick off. There may be a change at that level, who knows? But one thing I do know for sure, if it doesn't work, they will simply try again. These people aren't here for the short term, they're here for the long haul. And the success of the club is important to them. They want a return on their investment. And the only way you can get a return on a footballing investment is success and to succeed with your plans for the club. So they're not joking about this. They're making calculated risks or according to their calculations, but they're not joking. So I don't see this implosion that a lot of people are expecting if this doesn't work or that. No, then they're too wise, too strong an entity for that. If it doesn't work, they simply rip up the phone book and start again. Yes, there may be a lot of people screaming and shouting, asking for demonstrations and all that sort of thing, but all those things are ineffective, more destructive uh, uh, consequences. You know, you start raising banners, calling for this and that, and then you're affecting the team anyway. So you are creating a problem within a problem. So let's wait and see. Let's pray that it works. But if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. They will continue and start again, maybe in another way. But I don't want to dwell on that too much because it's very, very far from happening at this current point in time.
Dante says in the world of contract these days it's very complicated, and I'll come to you, Garvin, and yeah, let's move ahead. And you know me, I'm now I have already discussed that in the earlier podcast. And Bobby was here; he was listening to me, and yes. Now we have already discussed. I've showed so much reservations, so you know me, like I'm not a person to dwell and move forward quickly. I will be very positive moving forward, but I'll be analytical. I will observe each and every move. um, so um, because as we know, the show is of course Chelsea centric, but 4 to 5% we cover any breaking news, anything related to cups, Champions League. So it's not really a breaking news, but it's related simultaneously the situation of Manchester United and Chelsea, the managerial, you can say, circus, if you would like to say that. So if this deals goes through again, and we are not sure, the decision is impending. Ten Hag might stay, might go. We'll probably know that in the next 24 hours or so. In case he leaves, I just wanted to update the three-man shortlist as of now, as we speak, is Kevin McKenna, Mauricio Pochettino, and De Zerbi for Manchester United hot seat if Ten Hag is replaced. Keep an eye on Pochettino, I would say. So I have a question, Garvin, and then of course I know you have questions as well for me and Sir Bobby. My question is, okay, let's be positive. Let's move forward. No, let's not dwell, right? Let's calm down. I'm saying to myself, perhaps let's move forward. Let's be more rational. Okay, fine. Now the question is, Garvin, next season, what should be the expectation, and if, please hear me out, if we finish, assuming it's Enzo Maresca, if we finish exactly how Poch finished sixth, I'm just putting a situation. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. If we finish sixth and don't win anything, should we continue with Enzo Maresca then? Should the treatment of Enzo Maresca be any different than Pochettino? I hope you got the point. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, for me, if he come in for his first season and he finish sixth, it depends. Like if it's more competitive, in the first half of the season towards the whole entire season, you can tell earlier in the season if a team improve, or you can try to see what the team is doing. So for me, if you can come in and you can see his style from day one, right through, we probably have some bad luck, probably lose some games or draw some games, but you can see what he's doing. For me, it's a 100% surety. Like, yes, he will. I would let him stay. If the players are happy and you can see what he's doing. Sometimes it take a time to gradually get to a point where you want to be. But the difference with go back to Pochettino, what we see in preseason and what we see in the start of the season is a totally different. And the end of the season, the last 7 games, after he's gonna go, then what you see, you was like, where all of this is coming from? Why we weren't seeing this? So if I can see something that is building, and we can see it week in, week out, like the players like sticking to the plan that he's doing. Sometimes they're not going to get it 100% perfect because it's going to be young and fresh, of course. I will give him another chance because I can see what he's building. But if it's going to be a roller coaster like with Pochettino, then I will say no. That's just my belief. Or less he got an explanation for it. Then I can say okay, give him another season. But I wouldn't want to go in the next season anyway and don't give these players stability because stability right now is key for this young squad. So I don't think that we can able to sack a manager again after this appointment. We're gonna have to go through thick and thin with this manager. So it doesn't matter how I think it or how I say it, like we definitely have to stick with any appointment that we do. We have to give them at least 2 seasons now, or less it's gonna go really bad for the board. So I would say give him 2 seasons, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Perhaps I would say that the targets that was set for Pochettino should be the same for Enzo Maresca. That's me, the ambition of the board, the current standing. If anything, these players are more rehearsed. They have played with each other for 1 year. We will have more additions. Reece James and Kunkus hopefully would be more fit. So this is my thinking. There should not be any excuse not to make top four, or if you are finished sixth, then at least win something, win a conference league or something, a Carabao Cup. This is me. At least we have this should have the same standards. We should not give any. This is, you see, this is the concern. If what you said, I'm not challenging that. What you said is a good point. What you made, but if we say no for him, it's the other way around. We'll give him 2 years. We will accept the same outcome that we had for Pochettino for him. But for him, it will be okay. For Poch, it was not okay. Where's the progress? Where's the ambition? That's what, and we have to see if that's the situation. This is the only concern. This is where I don't want to compromise on the you can say ambition. That's all. We know the situation is tough. We know we have to go through, and I'm all for that. But the ambition should not be compromised. And I have a question, interesting question. I don't know if it makes sense to you. Let's say if Poch is the manager of Manchester United, let's say, just it's a possibility if Ten Hag goes. Garvin, and if you are Bobby, if you want, who do you think will finish above? Mariska with Chelsea or Poch with United? I'll say Poch with United. I don't want that, but I will rather be more comfortable to say that Poch will finish above with United above in the league, and you can see why I have a reservation with disappointment. Garvin, please go ahead, and Sir Bobby, please follow up with anything you would like.
Uh, if Pochettino go to Manchester United and we can see Pochettino philosophy right away all through the season, I will sit here and I can say that he sabotaged Chelsea from day one because for me, I always said the reason why one thing I wouldn't sign, I wasn't with Pochettino signing to us is Pochettino having get over the hurt that Chelsea hurt him, where the battle of the bridge, where we stop him from winning, from lifting his first Premier League title and probably would be his only Premier League title. So I don't think that was a good fit from day one. Do I think Pochettino could have done better in the last season? 100%. A lot of games I can see Pochettino definitely throw it away. So if he go to Manchester United and we can see exactly what he want to do from day one, then I would say Chelsea get a big scam, and I will sue him for that.
Bobby, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
you know, managerial appointments in football is not a metric scale. By that I mean, I don't see a situation where owners will say, "Oh, we set this target for this person, so we have to set this target for this person as well." I don't think it works like that. There are permutations, there are circumstances. You could finish sixth in a very, very competitive situation where your performance has exponentially improved. So, I mean, all kinds of reasons could lead to that, As for Pochettino finishing ahead, well, it's okay to have that opinion. I don't know. I'm not so sure. I've seen Pochettino struggle dealing with sides that have a lot of star players. Yet again, but we've also seen him do well with sides of the composition like Manchester United have, like he did with Tottenham. He did very well with them. So I don't know. I really don't know. He's not a bad coach. I think he has his flaws. I think that when it really, really matters, he's somebody with the capacity to bottle it. But you never know. There's a first time for anything and everything. So I wouldn't stick my neck out and say he's going to do better than Maresca. It seems like he will, but Maresca's an unknown entity with a team that's an unknown entity, and the chemistry and that cocktail could well be the ticket. We just don't know at the moment.
Yeah, as Rich Moneymaker say here, that Poch never started well at in any season, and that's true. He struggled when he go to Tottenham and all of those teams. So Pochettino when he go to PSG, he struggled same way. So that point is true. You know, as he said, it takes time to build a chair. At least for us, it takes almost 9 months to build that chair. So I don't know what to really say about Pochettino. It's just a mixed feelings for me with Pochettino. Um, I thought in my mind, as I said earlier, he should have done better. And the way how we finished the season, I think that we could have do the second half of the season in that manner, injury or no injury. So I just think that it it was just the reason why I said that, Sir Bobby, like the preseason games that was there, I go to few preseason games, and the way I saw the player was training and the way I saw everything was developed, it gave me hope that we were gonna at least have a balance during the season, because he was using a lot of the reserve players and we were getting result, and all of a sudden now it come down to player injury, where all those players that he was using, the Ian Matson, right through the preseason, all of those players was getting game, so I wasn't even concerned too much about the injury, which that the injury was too much. But why you use all those players in the preseason, to build something, and then during the game season, when the season start, you start to get a lot of injury. Why you didn't learn how to adapt these players into the team, integrate them into the team? That was my biggest concern. Why all of these players was out. You got Levi Colwell at left back. You got Ian Matson right during the preseason was playing almost 90 minutes all the time. So those are some little concern for me why I was like Pochettino is not the man. And he's not brave enough in my point. But with this manager that's coming in right now, as you said, Sir Bobby, none of us know what he's gonna bring. None of us know until when he gets here and we start to see it during the season. That's the only way we can judge him. Because at this time, like if we do based off his previous clubs, we're not gonna get anything, because this is Chelsea. That's what you always say, Sir Bobby. Chelsea is a different beast. Chelsea's not a Leicester City, or it's not a Parma. It's something different. So we have to wait and see what he can bring to the table. I know that a lot of us, the favorite would be probably Amarim, but Amarim seems like he's staying where is that? Who to tell? Amarim release class is really high. So probably the club don't want to go too much of paying so much release clause, because we're gonna have to make signings in the summer too. So probably that would be one of the main concern why we didn't go for an Amarin. It's just my take on it. I don't know what you think about it, Jersey.
I think honestly, like as much as I would like to talk with that, let's move forward. What we have, I was just looking. It's nothing official, but it's heavily reported that it's almost done. It's those final piece of, you can say, signatures, clauses, all of that jazz, as you want to say. So it's imminent, probably tonight, later tonight in the morning will be announced. Until unless something, which is this is life, go wrong in the very final hour. And I'm not even wishing for that. I don't wish anything bad, of course. I hope it goes through as much as I don't want anything to happen bad if this is their plan. And again, if anyone understood me wrong, which I think no one did, nothing against Enzo. If anything, it's a criticism towards the sporting directors. Enzo, it's not his fault. Similarly, if I am given an opportunity for any job which I don't deserve, let's put it this way, I won't like if anyone criticized me, right? It's not. I got an opportunity, I took it, right? So let's move forward, of course. And I don't dwell too much. Today is perhaps one of those times, because I didn't even want De Zerbi, but I warmed for him given the list. But then I saw it's not Ruben Amorim, then not De Zerbi, and this guy. So I was like, what's going on? So let's move forward. Let's see what happens. That's all we can do, right? And try to make some logic and something from this. Something from
I
this.
want to
So
pick Sir Bobby Brain for a second.
sure,
If you don't
absolutely,
mind.
absolutely.
I know Sir Bobby is a legend to the game, and he know a lot. None of us haven't seen nothing like this before, Sir Bobby. So all of this is something not new to you, but for us because we're a little bit younger. So we read about the back in the days. The Save the Bridge and back in the 90s, all of those stuff. We really read about them. We don't really know too much about it. So I would like to ask you, if you can educate us a little bit, on those days, to see if it's something similar to what we got right now, the situation, if you can, or if you remember most of it, if you can share
Yeah.
some of that with us, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, I was there. Chelsea fan base are a very unique set of people. We really are. We're people that can come together at a time where we feel the club is under magnanimous threat. And certainly when outside the bridge, there were buckets where people would drop money towards saving Chelsea. This is just around the time Ken Bates came and bought the club for £1. I've been there when we suffered relegation. I was there at White Hart Lane, the draw, or rather the loss to Tottenham, which sent us down and erupted in some of the worst violent scenes I've ever seen at a football match. Because in those days, the fierce dislike between Chelsea fans and Spurs fans was not a joke, and I actually continued for decades afterwards. But those were slightly the darker days. Um, there's been nothing like this in that this is a rebuild with financial backing, and a rebuild that we're not necessarily going to have to lose the the cream of the players. In fact, we're looking for the cream of the players that we purchased in order to bring into the team. Whereas back in the day, I mean, I wasn't old enough to see the rebuild that brought the 1955 title, or indeed the 65 League Cup, but certainly the 1970 FA Cup and the Cup Winners' Cup, and sort of the Dave Sexton team that was built around the Osgoods, the Harris, the Charlie Cooks, the David Webbs, the Ian Houseman, the Ian Hutchinsons of this world. I mean, Chelsea had a fantastic team who, at one point, actually nearly stole the league. I think we just unfortunately were hit by some key injuries and dropped down to second or third in the early 70s. So, look, we are a club that has always persevered. We've been at the brink and we've come back. We look at what happened to us in recent times. The modern Chelsea fan, I know today all of a sudden memories are short, but they don't they lived through a point where we were at the brink of administration. The government had sanctioned our rich magnanimous owner not once but twice. The second time they forced him to sell the club for nothing. Nothing. That has never happened before. And, this is why when people talk about, oh, the points deduction from Chelsea punished them because of the misdeeds of Roman Abramovich, well, I say to hell with that. One, the ownership just declared an audit. Two, if you want to punish the club, well, they've had their punishment because the flipping owner sold the whole damn thing for nothing. You don't get any bigger punishment than that. So, we've been through that. And on the in the last hour of the club going into administration, the deal was done for the purchase. And then we had to walk in as the ink hadn't dried on the sales contract. Then the owners had to go in to face a very daunting transfer market that they were 4 5 months behind some of the biggest clubs in the world. So of course they're going to make mistakes. I think they did very well. One of the owners who knows nothing about football took the reins of a sporting director and did all the deals himself, vis-a-vis your Koulibalys, your Sterlings, and so on. So I can't blame them for that. They then brought in the sporting directors. It really wasn't until the sporting directors were all in place by this January transfer window that we have started to have a semblance of stability in the boardroom. So, yeah, this is the story of Chelsea. You can't be a fan without understanding that we are a club that comes through adversity. Winning the Champions League for the first time, I don't think it was ever done by like that before by anyone. We had two injured centre backs. We had some of our best players suspended. John Terry. I don't think we had. No, we didn't have Ramirez available, not least to mention. And we went to play Bayern Munich in their own backyard of the Allianz Arena, and the rest is history. They will never forget that. Never forget that, and probably never forgive us for that either. Even look at the second time we won the Champions League. We played Man City, who arguably at the time was the best club in the world, and look what happened. So Chelsea is a club that knows about overcoming adversity on and off the pitch. The fan base should take some pride in that and have some faith in that, because one thing about the mighty Blues is they turn up at times where you least expect them. And so I hang on to the club. I'm looking at all this going on. It looks absolutely bananas. But please remember, we are being run by some of the biggest business brains in the world. And there's a whole group of them come together to create this project. It's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be that easy for the average brain to immediately understand. When we will start to understand it is when the success comes and when it's completed. But the building process is very painful. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes it looks confusing. I always give the analogies that if you see a house being built in the beginning, even if it's a palace, when they've laid the foundation and they're building the blocks upwards, it looks a mess. It's a building site. But when it's finished and it's capped and it's furnished, you look and you see the magnificent structure that exists. This is what we're doing now. So We've got to have faith. We've got to look at our history. We've got to be proud of our history. And we've got to understand that we've never done it the normal way, ever.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Jersey, yes, you have anything you want to add to that? Because I'm just trying to pick the brain and see where your mindset is. I know that you didn't want you don't want Enzo, you know, and De Zerbi ain't coming. So who would you choose, as your candidate? Because we know Andrew Flitt already went to Barcelona. He signed a 2-year contract with a further option of another one. So, you know, what your takes on it? Like, who would you bring in? You know, if Enzo the haven't work out.
You mean in the future?
Yes.
Oh, long shot, right? Julian Nagelsmann. Julian Nagelsmann, the most outstanding manager, young manager, 36, 37 years old with 8 years, 7 years experience with RB Leipzig, Bayern Munich. As we talk about innovation, no one knows better than Nagelsmann the word innovation. Very tactical, very astute. Did wonderful at Bayern Munich as well. People think he failed it. No, he won the league. He was unbeaten in the Champions League for 8 games. Yes, they had some bad performances, only 2, 3, and they quickly, for political reason, made the decision when he was on skiing trip. So highly rated in the industry, ahead of the time, disciple of Ragnick, Klopp. Why not? What a profile! If you want to go for a young manager, who upcoming manager, then for me, at least in my observation, in my research, following Leipzig, his time at Leipzig, Bayern, a huge fan of Julian Nagelsmann. So for me, it's a clear standout choice. If and I hope it works with Enzo Maresca. If it doesn't, and you just ask me a question to analyze or give my view, it should be a no-brainer. And Nagelsmann is in has a contract. He just extended his contract a month ago or so with the German national team till the World Cup 2026. So it's 2 years from now. So in fact, if anything, it's perfect. We can keep Enzo Maresca if Enzo Maresca is indeed the guy who would be announced for the next 2 years. And if it doesn't work out, it could be a perfect time to bring Nagelsmann in. So Enzo Maresca could be a guy, as they say, guy before the guy. So if anything, I would be keeping an eye on Julian Nagelsmann to ensure. First, of course, we want it to work, but if not, then I would do my planning ahead of time and make sure that once Julian Nagelsmann tenure with German national team finishes, then I can get him if required.
Sir Bobby, I know you said you will stick with any manager that we get, and support them as will I. I just want to pick your brain to see if you have any manager in thoughts that you would have really want to see, come at Chelsea, or if the Enzo doesn't work out, like which manager you think out there would we could apply, that can take us forward.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and I have to echo Jerry Z. I think, in view of what the project looks like and where they want to be, I think Nagelsmann would have been a good fit. I really do. Yes, now it's out of the question because he's with the German national team, and I think he's signed a new contract with them. So his focus will be there. But I would have been very intrigued to see how he would have plied his trade in the Premier League with Chelsea and the youngsters at Chelsea. I think it would have worked. The Premier League is like no other. I have to say that as well. But German managers tend to know their way around with the big teams in the Premier League. So, yeah, he's one for sure. There was a time I was very interested in Hansi Flick. But coach actually put me off him and pointed out all his weaknesses. So I backed away. But you know what? Out there, when you really, really think about it, there's very, very few managers that fit what we have. You know, they have to be young, they have to be dynamic. Nagelsmann, yes. People are talking about Amarin. I don't know that much about Amarin, to be honest. But I do know that the Portuguese league and the English Premiership are just night and day. But if he is as talented as they say he is, maybe he's another one that could be looked at should things not quite work out. But yeah, I did say I would embrace any manager. Of course, I will. I never wanted Graham Potter. I embraced him when he came. I never wanted Pochettino. I embraced him when he came. I can't say I never wanted Enzo Maresca. I really can't say that because I just didn't fancy any of them. I'm just intrigued. And this is one scenario where the sporting directors will earn their money. And it's their job, you know. And if they have made the right move, we will all stand and applaud them. So we still wait and see.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this, Jersey, and then Sir Bobby, you can come in after that. You think if the sporting directors haven't get this one, correct this time around, would you consider, if we have to sack the manager, would you consider the sporting director have to go with the manager, um, in this part, because this is more than one hire they hire, and it will be and it will fail, if it fail, and if it go right, if it go correct, we have to give them their praises because they get it right. But if you think that, if this one doesn't go according to plan, would you consider, instead of the manager, would you consider the sporting directors have to go this time around?
Yeah, a very interesting question. For that, I will require to have more, you can say evidence, knowledge, what the structure is, how much is the say of sporting director. We all assume that they are calling the shots, which they should, based on their job responsibility. I mean, job description. But we all know how it works in the corporate affairs and the involvement of the owners and the other people of the board. So, are they really? I mean, how much say do they have, right? Which we assume they have to an extent, but are they actually? Let me put it this way: designing their own framework, or this framework of youth, and going with this is perhaps given to them. Like, hey, like when they were assigned, you have to when they were this when they took the job. What I'm trying to say is that the owners told that okay, you have to work in this framework. So if I was able to you can say give the uh, express myself in a way that is well understood. So in that context, the sporting directors are already limited, right? So they are doing basically or working in the scope of the framework. That's what I'm trying to say. And again, then it depends on the clauses. What's the agreement? What's the plan? What's the vision? Uh, whatever has been discussed. So because things should already be, which I assume in a professional environment at place, how they will be judged. So whatever the criteria is, how they should be evaluated, assessed. Of course, I would look into that and do that. But now, if talking just from the outside, if it doesn't work, and let's say if it's the homework, this assignment is sporting director's assignment, I don't know about just getting rid of them, but I will seriously have a lot of questions moving forward. Sir Bobby?
Sorry, what was the question again? Was it about? Oh dear, I've forgotten.
Yeah,
No,
the
because
question was that if let's say it goes horribly wrong, what Garvin asked,
ah,
would you
yeah,
replace the sporting directors this time?
yeah, that's a very good question and a very difficult one. Things like sporting directors aren't usually replaced. They are the people that are often given the chance to try again. There may be a slight shuffle, but it's they're not easy people to replace anyway. But I will say this: if it goes horribly wrong, of course they will be at risk. They'll be at big risk because they will be costing the conglomerate money, and they would not be justifying their income. So as such, they would probably one or maybe even both of them could well be cut adrift. So they know what's at stake. Not only that, their reputation as well. They don't want to be looked at as those that failed. They want to be looked at as innovative geniuses, which I hope they are. So yeah, they are at risk if it doesn't work for sure.
All right, we to close off. I'm gonna ask you both a question to close off because I know it's really late over there, and tomorrow I know we're gonna have a lot of news, to cover, and I know you guys gonna have to go to the different channels. So I really appreciate it, and I want to say thank to everyone that tuned in. But to close off, I just want to ask you guys, a question each. So I'll start with you, Jersey. If you don't mind. After all that we see over the last couple of season, with the ups and downs around this team and Chelsea in general, when you look at the team that we got right now, what do you take of it, and do you think that we can bounce back stronger than even before?
Um, Simple answer to that is yes. I think we can. I think this is a very highly talented team. It's also a very immature team, a developing team. That is a certain. A team that is growing and integrating. They've got a season in the Premier League behind them, a very difficult season where most of the key players that were there to help the project and to help these fledgling players along were on the injury table. So I think, anybody would be crazy if you look at how De Zerbi wanted the job. Even Tuchel wanted to come back. They know what these players are. They know the talent that's there to be harvested and used. But you've got to be patient with them. You've got to take time. You've got to study them. You've got to rotate them sometimes, and and utilize them well. If you do, you will have the makings of quite an incredible team on your hands.
Yeah, to answer, of course, anything is possible. It's not that it cannot happen. You cannot win. You cannot bounce back. Again, for me, it depends. What's the criteria? What is the vision? Right? For me, it's to win the Premier League and Champions League. I mean, it's to win the Premier League and the Champions League. I mean, that's the vision. What I'm saying. I know it's not realistic to win it every year, but that's how I not even it has nothing to do with even the Roman era and our success in the last 20 years. It's how I was brought up to think, to always aim for the best. That's all. You can even finish 10th. You can struggle. There could be bad luck. There could be something. But if ambition, no matter where you are in life, this is what I think I really believe in. Your ambition should be really right up there. You should try for the best. So in that way, so far I'm not convinced. Looking at the 2 years, a lot of good work is done. At the same time, yes, a lot of is yet to be desired. A lot of needs to be explained in a rational way. So I don't know. The team is good. Many of the players are overpaid, in my opinion. Many of the players, like Enzo Fernandez, were just bought because he was given the award Young Player of the Year, not necessarily the Young Player of the Year. We know how it all works. If you win the World Cup, you get the award. If you win the Champions League, you get the award. Caicedo, and I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a great player. I hope you understood the example. Caicedo, Lavia, we were fighting with Liverpool. overpaid when clearly the requirement was to go for a number nine, in my opinion. So in that context, I think some of the things were not done correctly. It was more for the commercial side to get the players they wanted. As I gave the example with the Liverpool Caicedo Lavia situation, uh, that's why this is an interesting time, a fragile time. We should at least hold on to what we have and progress, even slowly, even step by step. I hope we don't go back from here. Then it could be a long way to come back and fight for the things. Because remember, cities, their Arsenal 4 5 years in the building. Really, as much as we don't like them, they are right up there, right? I know Liverpool will go through a transition. Manchester United under Radcliffe Ineos will go through a new plan and project. So there's a lot of competition out there. So in that context, I hope and I really hope this is the word I can use, that they're doing everything in the best possible way with all their analysis, their decision making, and we are not really in a bad situation, yes, but we have to be clever with anything moving forward. And I hope this appointment is good, and I hope Enzo comes into this job, if he is the one who will be announced in a matter of hours, I would say, in the right frame of mind, and the sporting directors, owners give him all the tools and the platform to succeed. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well said. That's why I'm wrapping this one up so you guys can get the rest because tomorrow will probably be a big day. To be quite honest, we probably have a lot to cover tomorrow. Because I think it's gonna be soon because it wouldn't be this week if something wasn't leaking in the media. So we know it's coming soon, and I really want to thank you guys for coming on and have your say, and I really appreciate both of you guys to always come on here and share your thoughts with me, and I honored especially to be here right now with Sir Bobby, a legend. It's an honor to be here
Oh,
with
thank
Jay
you.
Z.
The honor's all mine, honestly.
Yep. I really appreciate it. The knowledge that you just gave me in Jersey just now, I know that you were the right man for the show that me and Jersey is trying to work on in the background. It's about Chelsea history. We're planning to do a little statement on Chelsea history for the younger fans. Sir Bobby, you did leave us the other night. Didn't get to bring it up to you, and Jersey can tell you more about it.
Yeah, my phone battery completely went. I'd been on for a while and it just totally just died. But yeah, absolutely. Whenever, just let me know. Chelsea has been my life. I've been sort of in the. I still have things to do with the club now, and I've been with the club, with the television station, with. I just love Chelsea. I'm unrepentant about it. It drives my wife crazy, but well, it is what it is. I own it now. It is who I am, and yeah, the blue bug bit me when I was a 4-year-old kid, and I haven't looked back. So absolutely, look, the honor's all mine. Honestly, I'm privileged to get the opportunity to come on your platforms and just talk about what I love the most.
Yeah. Anything you want to
No,
add to that, Jersey?
no, thank you for having me, Bobby. Please take care. Please take rest. I hope the health is well. You're progressing, and the recovery is uh, going well.
Thank you, guys.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for always coming, sharing your ideas, giving encouragement, in a way that you can understand, going through different phases. And it's very valuable to not only us, but everyone who listens to you. I say it's historic, everything that you are recording in different uh, podcasts. I think it's a historic piece of work. And if you don't know by now, that I really, really value that a lot, Bobby.
Thank you. Thank you. I value you guys too. You are the fan base. You are Chelsea. So, we're all part of this great club and we all want the best for this great club. So it is an absolute honor to be able to talk about something I love. Many people don't get that opportunity. So yeah, thanks to you too, for sure.
And thank you to Rich Money Makers and some other that are not in front of the list. Garvin, if you would like to have a shout out. Dante, thank you, Dante, so much for always being here. Take care. And yeah, so we start the life with a new dawn. It should be morning, I would say. Yeah, morning in Australia, I assume, in Melbourne. So thank you, Dante. So yeah, Garvin, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for all the support on X and on YouTube, and Rich Moneymaker, Dante, the Notorious Tash, you know Gabriel A, Andy, all the supporters that's always here, Coach, always motivate me, Coach, always here and always telling me, how I can get better and stuff. So I really appreciate each and every one that support us, and listen to Chelsea every day. I always listen to Sir Bobby in the mornings, even when I cannot be on the show or comment, because I'm at work, but I'm always listening to you, Sir Bobby. You're a legend. So I really appreciate you guys for coming on and share the platform with me today. Thank you. And I will speak to you guys tomorrow or another day, because I know some news gonna be breaking. And I know, Jersey, don't drink no more coffee tonight because you're gonna need that rest for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yes, tomorrow maybe it's likely we have to do an emergency podcast because if anything, I believe tomorrow we will. I mean, the new manager / coach will be announced. It really is inevitable.
Yes, sir. So, guys, have a wonderful evening. Thank you. And now we come to the end of the broadcast. I'll leave you guys with my son's song.
That's for life. All the memories come flooding back, hit different. I've changed a lot, friends list got thinner. Ain't tripping about enemies, true and stay hidden. He was lurking, so we made sure he went missing. Told the fakers to leave, but they wouldn't listen, they faulty. Now they gotta watch me glisten, they ain't silent. Like some snakes, they stay hissing, spreading words and